Yeah, I'ma make this shit hot. Oh, I'ma light this shit up. Yeah, I'ma make this shit hot. Oh, I'ma light this shit up.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to a brand new Whatif. And yes, I know, blah blah blah, I said I would stick to one Whatif at a time. I don't know if I'm even going to upload this, it's just motivation hit me at a weird time when this sick idea popped up. So basically what it's going to be is what if Deku had limitless growth, meaning he never stops growing, adapting, evolving, getting stronger. Never. And it might be confusing, but you understand more when I explain it. Anyway, other than that, I'll start at low 50 likes for the next part. And yeah, not going to drag out the intro like I usually do. Just hope you guys enjoy. We start our story with a boy in... I don't know where it is in America, because most of my views are from America. In kindergarten. I think that's what it's called for you lot. Well, basically when Deku was just a little kid, like little, before he got his quirk, or before anyone got his quirk. And we start with the day Bakugou got his explosion quirk. And it was just absolutely amazing. I mean, completely, everyone was just amazed. But Deku never got his quirk at all. And because of this, he was bullied every day. And every single day, he just wished it would stop hurting. They would just stop it. It would stop affecting him. And it was like this till middle school. Until one day he finally had enough. He was watching Bakugou bully another kid, literally pummeling him, kicking him about. And he told him to stop it. Bakugou punched Deku full force. But something was different this time. Deku managed to catch himself from falling and looked up with his eyes glowing. He felt stronger than he ever felt before. And Bakugou punched him again. And again, each time the punch hurt like less each time until it completely stopped hurting. To the point where Bakugou's fist was hurting. Deku's skin had become tougher, stronger. He had adapted. He had grown. And Bakugou went, "What the hell, Deku?" Oh, I don't know how to do a Bakugou. "What the hell, Deku? What is this?" And he decided he had enough of it and threw an explosion. This hurt Deku, but not a lot. Deku flew back into the wall and slammed on his back. But this just made Deku stronger, and he got back up. He knew he was stronger now. He knew he could fight back. He didn't know he had his quirk, though. He ran at Bakugou, who we saw was about to hit the kid again, and threw his own punch. He hit Bakugou square in the nose. And Bakugou fell backwards, but caught his balance with his explosion. And he lost it. No one's ever hit him back before. He launched a powerful explosion. And just after he launched it, he realised, no, this was too powerful. And it hit Deku deck on. He flew back into the wall, and Bakugou ran over, thinking he just killed Deku's childhood friend. Just for when he reached out to make sure Deku's okay, Deku lunges forward, not scratching him, grabbing him by his throat, and slamming him into the ground. Deku's eyes are growing a neon green. And Bakugou is letting off explosion after explosion after explosion. It isn't affecting Deku's skin. It's almost like he's gained heat resistance. And the more and more Deku's body endures these explosions, these flames, it's almost like it's absorbing them, it's learning them, it's copying them. And Deku starts wailing on Bakugou, just punch after punch after punch. All the rage, all the wishing it stopped has boiled over. He's reached his breaking point. He's basically having a mental breakdown, but not in tears, just anger, violence. He's thinking of any way possible to hurt Bakugou. He's forgot that they used to be childhood friends. Just a blank mind with the only thing on it. Hurt, kill, destroy. Not kill, hurt, destroy, hurt, destroy. But it's almost like Deku's body adapted to these feelings, control. And he soon realised what he's doing. He left Bakugou. He looked down to see his hands bloodied, Bakugou's nose running, and he began to freak out. He almost began to scream. But yet again, it's like his body adapted. His mind grew. And he managed to keep his composure, like it had no longer affected him. And Bakugou went to say, Deku! But Deku launched a powerful punch. And to everyone's shocked, it's almost like an explosion came with it. But everyone just thought it was their eyes playing trick on them. Like, they just saw the person they used to bully beat the crap out of the strongest person in their class. And this was after he got embarrassed and with UA and all that. This was at the end of the lesson when he got told he should, when Bakugou told him to take a swan dive. And Deku walks out of class. He's stronger now. He don't know what it is. And he sees his reflection in the puddle. His eyes are glowing green. He suddenly realises, wait, have I got my quirk? And in case you're wondering, yes, his hair is white as snow. We'll explain it more. He begins to run home, taking the shortcut to get us home as soon as possible to tell his mum. To finally let his mum not be sad about him being quirkless. Not sad like, oh, you useless, just sad for him. But that's when he feels that his instincts are roaring at him. And he just, his body moves on his own. Oh, sorry, I got choked on there. And he jumps backwards just to see a weird slime creature fly past him. Just to hear that creature start laughing. To think you managed to dodge, you must have an interesting quirk. Will only help me more in my quest to take over the world. The slime villain lunges at Deku, but yet again Deku's dodging. His body's faster, quicker. And Deku gets confidence, but just to get caught by surprise. His feet get taken out from underneath him and he's sucked into the slime monster. It starts trying to find every entrance it can to his body until Deku finally starts beginning to run out of air. Until he isn't out of air. It's like his lungs expanded. It's like he's just getting more and more air, getting better at holding his breath. And this goes on for about 4 minutes until the slime villain is like, wait, I thought his quirk would have been sensory. Can he just hold his breath for a really long time? And after a while of struggling, Deku's body's tired. It's drained. But as if it was nothing, that glow in his eye gets even brighter. His stamina is refreshed. He feels stronger than ever. And he moves his arms with such power, it actually creates a small amount of pressure, launching his arm out of the slime villain, giving him a manage to get a grip, and he starts beginning to wrestle with the slime villain. This is when All Might arrives, thinking that he's too late, as he was a bit delayed by police, just to see that this kid is wrestling with a villain that All Might had trouble catching. And before All Might could even do anything, Deku slams his hand down on the slime villain's eyeball, making it scream and let him go. And he begins to run away, not until he hears, Detroit Smash! Oh, that was embarrassing. Just to get blown away, but just to get hit by what seems to be an air punch. Deku recognises that move. That's his idol's move. He turns around, his eyes still glowing, smiling, and he sees All Might, and he starts freaking out, fanboying, and picks up it and pulls out his burnt notebook, which was burnt by Bakugou earlier, and rushes over, asking him to sign it, which All Might does. And asks him what his quirk is. Deku says, I don't know, I'm a late bloomer. My quirk literally just awakened a few, 20 minutes ago. All Might's intrigued by this and also shocked. And he says, for someone who just awakened, you seem to have short control over it. And Deku says, I don't even know what it is. It's just like my body gets stronger and stronger over time. All Might hears this and gets very intrigued. But before he can say anything, Deku remembers he needs to go tell his mum. And he apologises to All Might and takes off running. Deku notices while he's running, his body feels lighter, and he's only getting faster and faster. It's like when someone starts on a jog to a sprint, but Deku still feels like he's only jogging. And this just keeps on happening until Deku gets home. He's smirking, he's really happy with his quirk, and he wants to figure out what it is. He can finally achieve his dream of becoming a hero. He knocks on the door, and no one answers. He knocks on the door again, and just hears a bang. Deku's body moving without thinking boots his door off its hinges and runs inside. He sees someone holding a knife towards his mum. Nothing. His mum isn't hurt except for a small cut on his cheek. He looks over and she says, Izu, your eyes. Deku's hair is rising on ends. His eyes are glowing more than ever. This is anger. This is pure killing intent. That green glow goes to a red one, and he lunges at this, what seems to be a burglar. his mom screams, "No, Izzy, you don't have a quirk." But with the force that Deku hit this burglar, he sent him flying through his house walls. That's when Inko notices her son's eyes. It's rage, it's anger, it's the pure only will to hurt someone. And Deku runs and without any honour stamps on this villain's face, starts kicking him, and like you see in Street Fight, and starts completely wailing. And that's when yet again, his mind, it's almost like his mind grows. And he takes a deep breath, his eyes return to green. And he picks up the villain by the head and said, "I'm a hero, I don't make people suffer." And he slams the villain's head into the ground, knocking him unconscious, leaving an actual crater where the villain's head hit. He stands up and rushes over to his mum, and then starts checking if she's okay. She just stands there and dazed, and then he mentioned with a big smile on his face, the purest smile you've ever seen, and says, "Mum, my quirk awakened." Almost as if she forgot that she just had a knife being held towards her, she starts crying in tears, screaming, "My baby!" And the police are called, and All Might actually arrives there, following the boy, wanting to learn more about his quirk, as he's still on the hunt for a successor. And he even offers to get them to use his connections to get them a lift to the hospital and skip the queue, which they graciously accept. Deku gets his quirk tested through multiple forms, such as running on a treadmill, and the doctors notice his insane speed and expect its super speed. That's when they notice that over time Deku's getting faster, and they have a theory, but they don't want to just say it. Then they work on Deku lifting weights. They start with 10 kg, and his limit was actually 300 kg, which was shocking for everyone there, except for some of the head doctors who was used to seeing people who are able to blow up buildings. But it's weird, it seems like after barely able to lift 300, after a few seconds, he could lift 400, then 500 with ease. That's when the doctors were saying. They call Deku's quirk Limitless Growth. It's where his body, mind and soul adapt, overcome, evolve limitlessly, infinitely, without no limit. And they stress the importance, if Deku trains hard, he would easily become the #1 hero. All Might hearing this knows he's just found his successor, but he doesn't want to push it on the young man yet, unless he knows he's ready for it. And such, All Might offers to train Deku. Deku, of course, says yes without a second thought. He was not going to train with the #1 idol. And so the training begins. It's just like what we see in canon, except that Deku's starting to breeze through it easily. As All Might can't tell him to just not use his quirk, because Deku's quirk is always active. He's always going to be as strong as that. But he can control it. And All Might soon learns that it's no point telling Deku to hold back. The only way he's going to get stronger is by pushing himself more and more. And that's what he does, clearing the beach. He's easily lifting up tons and tons, chucking cars, cleaning up. And that crush... And that crushing thing All Might did in the start to give Deku determination. One sec, I need to drink my Vimto. Deku can easily do it himself by crushing the old washing machine. Oh, ouch. Oh, I just dropped my phone on my face. And Deku's becoming stronger and stronger. He can easily lift a ton without a second thought. He can run laps around the beach in seconds. He's after knowing what his quirk was, he tested other things. He would swim in water and only become faster and faster. He would hold his breath underneath it, and he would constantly purposely breathe in water. What makes your nose burn in the swimming pool. And over time, his body adapted to where he could breathe water underwater. So he spent most of his time underwater actually, as it was a place that was very peaceful for him. Nothing ever disturbed him. There was no loud bangs. No one ever constantly berating him, belittling him. And as Deku slowly spent time underwater, he started noticing, not only was his body adapting to be able to survive in it, it was like he could control it. Where he moved his arm, whatever he wished the water to do, it did. He propelled himself to the surface with this and was sent flying out the water. All Might rushes over asking what's happened, and Deku just says, "I think I can control water." All Might laughs, saying, "Young man, we all have fantasies about different quirks. But you can't just suddenly develop a new quirk." And Deku says, "I think it's where I've been in water for so long. My body adapted to it to such an extent." And he puts his hand out. And like we see in the Avatar, the water's still, by the way. Yeah, it's the ocean, but there's no like waves coming in and out. He pushes his hand out and the coastline goes out with it. Not for like tsunami out, just like we see in the Avatar when they're first practicing. And he pulls it in and out. At first, it's very little control, but the more he practices it, the more he gains easy control of it at an insane speed. Like, let's say first he can make the water ripple, then splash, then he can make a whole wave crash down. And then All Might suddenly learned that this wasn't just a simple, your body gets stronger. This was a new one for all, a new all for one. It was on the same level. And you could only think what would happen when he gets all for one. I mean, one for all. How would his body adapt to it then? Will it make the quirk stronger? Would one for all make his quirk stronger? All Might could only imagine the possibilities, and with a smile on his face, knew he had right in front of him was what would ensure the safety of the future generation. Deku, after, I'm going to say they still have, right now, they got given 6 months to prepare for UA, I'm doing maths. He still has 3 months. His training is going great. He can handle All Might right now around 60%. They moved to sparring, and each day the percentage seems to be going up 1 or 2%. And his control with water is impeccable. You'd think he lived in water all his life, the way he can control it, manipulate it. He can even turn it to ice. And that's when, during the 3rd month, Bakugou walks down the things, still with some bruises, and sees Deku training with All Might. Almost as if he's forgetting that Deku just beat the hell out of him a few months prior. He launched down with the explosion, yelling, "Deku!" Deku hears this noise and his eyes flash red for a second. But yet again, control. And he calms down and turns around and says, "Bakugou, what do you want?" Bakugou shuts up at hearing his actual name for once and says, "No, Ka-chan." Deku says, "That's for someone who I used to admire, respect. After I finally accepted the fact you were just a bully, basically a villain, you lost any reason I should be calling you that." Hearing this made Bakugou nearly start breaking down. And Deku got the opposite reaction he expected. Bakugou got down like in a proper praying bow position, started apologising in tears, saying, "I know I was wrong. I know there's no excuse for it. I'm sorry, please forgive me. All that." And he got to look, and what shocked Deku the most was that Bakugou says, "I know, I was basically a villain in the past. I just want to change. I want to be better. I want to help people. I want to be someone people can rely on for help, not for someone they rely on to get hurt by." After hearing this, Deku smiled and said, "Ka-chan, stand up." And Bakugou refused to, as Deku didn't realise it, but Bakugou was in tears. And Deku forced his head up to see a snotty-nosed blondie who looked like he had anger issues. Deku just started laughing and told him to stand up, and said if he really wants for him to forgive him, he's going to have to help him with his training. Deku explained to Bakugou some of his quirk, not all of it, as he didn't want everyone to know. He explained it had something to do with water and his body would get stronger over time. But he said his body had to endure stuff to get stronger. And Bakugou was like, "So how can I help?" Deku said with a straight face, "I want you to launch the strongest explosions you can at me repeatedly." Bakugou's face was just shocked, along with All Might's. But Bakugou weren't about to let down his childish best friend again. So he did what he was told, but not at full strength. He still launched little ones at first, testing out Deku's body, seeing that it weren't damaged, and would slowly get stronger. Until Deku would yell, "You stupid Pomeranian, can you just send an explosion?" But hearing this, a vein would bulge in Bakugou's head, and he would scream, "You asked for it!" And he would charge up the strongest explosion he could muster, launching it at Deku's body over and over and over again, just to see Deku walk out with orange glowing eyes for a few seconds that would quickly fade back to green. And he smirks, thinking, "See, it was as I thought." He holds out his hand, and explosions come from it. Deku's body has adapted, overcame, and evolved. evolved to the point where it can now have Bakugou's quirk. And Deku smirks, thinking, this is going to be one hell of a year. Anyway, guys, I hope you do enjoy. If you did, make sure you like, share, subscribe with your friends and family. Get me to 20k by July. Wait, no, not July. Get me to 20k by February. Other than that, peace out, guys. Hope you did enjoy. And share with your friends and family. Hit the like goal. And peace out, guys. Love.